so I just want to get this on record. So basically, the last 24 years, it's taken the combined resources of the entire planet over the last 24 years to do that. All right. So it just shows you. I was just saying that having a sort of, we know how to get to, we can see a route to success. So all we've got to do now is shrink that down, because we're using a vacuum tube basically. The entire combined resources of the planet over the last 24 years are like a vacuum computer. So now we've got to shrink it down to the size of silicon, and then, increase the power of it. And so as a consequence of that, you can see a mechanism and a progress, a path to success. So we can compute the future, we can make the future happen. All right, we can make the past happen. All right, and so we'll have the resources to be able to make that happen. And what I'm saying is, we can have a vehicle, if you like, that enables us to see how to get to the future and what the future will actually be. So the public can return to being the public if you want. There's no shame in that. But it was really only just for certain person. People can return to their own lives now, because obviously the construct's all right and things are working again. Or at least we hope they're working, and they're going to continue to work now. So yes, it was a great success, fantastic success. And, it was... but that's what it takes to create a world, and that's what it took to create the world. If we can add to that reverse aging technology as well, as I've just said, then you can see that, we can actually make something really amazing happen. So we've got the ability to be able to see how to get to the future, to make the future happen, what the future will actually be. And we've got the ability to reverse age ourselves and keep ourselves young, so we have the power and the ability to actually make it happen, which is just totally awesome. Yeah. So there's obviously many things that are happening all at once, and people are just like, they were like, oh. Somebody, as soon as I said that, they couldn't deal with it, and they were like, whoa, and like degraded the thought. But as I say, you could just be your own self, just pretend to be in the public. But as I say, sometimes people have to do certain things because of power and godship and one thing or another. And so you can go back to being the public if you want. It doesn't matter now. As I say, it was never for anybody in particular, really, except some individual who'll have to remain anonymous. And we don't know who that person is, do we? We have no idea. None. Absolutely none. And so we're very, very grateful. And the thing is, it's like, but dude, you've got the ability. It's like you've got the ability to make it happen. It's like you've got money. I have got money. You can help. Come on, let's do it. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. And so it just requires the determination of people to make it happen. So this is why I'm not so distraught over gaffes and problems and things, because ultimately at the end of the day we can work through it all, and we'll meet up again in the future, so it's not a problem. And as I say, with the ability to be able to recreate important events in man's history, we can do anything. Let's do anything. And so, but it's actually a bit beyond that, because the gods are CPUs. So we've got the capability. What I'm trying to say, it's taken all that time, 24 years, the combined resources of the planet, and it shows that we have the capability to do that. All right. Obviously, many things have been accomplished, and the desired result was obtained. And yes, that's what we've got to that's what we've got to create. Okay. So, but can you understand the fact that we have a vehicle that enables us to compute, to see the future. All right, we have a way of creating future by the mechanism and the vehicle that we have at the moment on the planet Earth. What we've got to do now is sort of give it more power, just like we did with computers, the vacuum tube, shrinking it down to silicon and having more and more CPUs. And as a consequence of that, we can literally make the future and the past happen however we want. Add to that materialization technology as well, and we'd literally be able to create any period of man's history or compute any future period of man's future history in real time in the present. So this is not science fiction. This is becoming science fact. So man is a very, very exciting time to be alive, and we can create any period in the history of the world, past or future, and we have the mechanism to do it. So it wasn't for anyone in particular, but for the person to be unknown, because it was such an important period of man's history. It had to be preserved at any and all costs. Simple as that. It was that important, and so as I say, it was actually successful. And but as I say, if people want to return to being a public, well, fine, no problem. I just wanted to get this on record. All right. So, so that's the thing of it. And I think the next thing to do is to have a bit of a sabbatical. On to the next thing. Please, just and get ourselves into position, because we're probably a bit scragged and need a little bit of us time to get ourselves into, and as I say, we've got all this incredible science and technology that we look forward to, and make the future actually happen, which is what people do every day, but if you know what I mean. Yeah, so it's like, well, look, dude, it's only really for a small group of people on the planet anyway. Don't worry, you don't have to worry about it. You just go back to your own life again. All right, and it'd be like, oh, that was terrific. Yeah, it was terrific. But maybe it might be a good idea for you to, forget about it for a while. And at some point in the future, you might even get reconnected again. All right. So I think the future is so staggeringly brilliant that if you're not joyous and like, oh, wow, you don't get it. If you don't do a Steve Ballmer every day, it's called doing a Ballmer. A Ballmer. Oh God, I just love Steve Ballmer's on the stage there. I thought that was one of the best blooming things. You just imagine having a boss like that, man. That's fucking brilliant. And so that's really how we should be feeling. There's that much capability, and the future's is that incredible technology. We should be feeling that. But of course, we've been through a tremendous ordeal. But we can perceive what it is, and it is exciting. But I think we need to have a little bit of us time now, just to help us to, So there we go. But people can return to, as I say, being whatever they're doing. I think there are events in man's history, man's history that require all hands on deck, so to speak. And I think we've just passed through one of them. And it took all the combined resources of the planet. And it's a situation now of you can go your own way if you want. But I think I need a bloody good rest after all of that, and I think get a bit of a rest and make a little bit of money and stuff, and get fresh and then return to it at some point in the near future. Yeah, they've been moving stuff around, and so yeah. So I think having gone through all of that, I'm just wondering what the future for me is going to be, because I mean, obviously I don't know. But yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But you see, I don't know if people are going to be stimulated in the right way. I mean, it might not work. I mean, that's how I might perceive it, right? Um, but yeah, really, really good. So I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank the United States in particular, and thank, of course, Great Britain, and thank Mexico, Russia, China, India, Pakistan, Europe, the Middle East, and last of all, I thank yourselves. So yeah, great progress been made, incredible progress, and along the way to solving that, we've potentially solved every virus and bacterial infection known and unknown. Advanced science and understanding gravity and everything, space, the universe, and all things, whatever, whatever. Um, and made some really cool technologies. Had a view of certain amazing things. Somebody's still fighting with me. The word space. When you say word space, this picture of like a window with slats. Like I've got here. I've got look, like that. It keeps appearing. So just fucking ignore that. Alright, it's got nothing to do with me. I think it was out of a Kingdom Hall in Blackburn. So, every time I said it, it's because when I was in the Sally Army, they were reading my thoughts as I was thinking, and then one of them that took off. So that's what that. Anyway, I don't want to screw up the past. Terrible, innit? Your brain's not your mind. Your brain and your mind, you don't belong to you anymore, do they? They just not belong. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. It's like, can I use my own brain? So the pathetic. You missed. They're still at it. Get off! Stupid bloody curly frickin' thing. It's like an octopus, right? Stupid octopus, sod off! Well, that just shows you that if you mess around with somebody else's brain patterns, it can seriously fuck you up. All right. Paddy, fuck off. Yeah, they're trying to intimidate and mess about and screw with my brain. They said they never let me do it. They've got no choice. I'm doing it whether they like it or not. Motherfucker. I'm doing it whether you like it or not. And if you want to strong arm my brain, I'm going to cut your bastard tentacle off. Come here. I'll cut your fucking tentacle off if you do that again, motherfucker. I think all things are actually possible, but I mean, if you keep working on the problem, you'll create something. Well, it's just that what they're doing is they've coincidented myself and the strong arm in my brain, and I don't know how to overcome it, and I don't really want to fight them because I think they're just fucking pathetic. But they're moving stuff around, and that's that. So, no, I know. Trust the intelligence services. Let them do the job. Intelligence do the job, and intelligence can fuck them. It's going after this pot point here. It's trying to ruin that. You're gonna have to arrest them, yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to arrest them. Here. But I did marry John Semper. But I did. See, they're just trying to erase history, trying to change it. But I actually did. And so, does that mean I'm supposed to meet up with Jahan again? Don't mind meeting up with Jahan again. Be cool. And got some other ladies that I need to hook up with. But go back to your lives forward. And can you do it again? Do it again, what you did before last night. That was great, that. Or do you want me to wait until I return to the United States? Thing is, am I going to get to America? Because they're all like, you've got to make your way over here. We can't help you. If you want that period recreating again, you're going to have to help me. Okay? Trying to erase the bloody competition by means of what you're doing is ethically, etc., wrong. You're going to use those tactics. You never had that shop. You never had that. You never had that life. Stop messing around with the past. Stop messing around with the past. Thank you. It's like talking to the brick wall because they won't stop messing around with the past. So where was that subroutine gone? Exactly. Where's that subroutine gone? Oh, it's changed, disappeared. Oh. The history of the world, man's history is like a gigantic program. Where did that subroutine go? Considering that everything else is programmed in the universe, the idea of man's history being like a gigantic program is quite appropriate, I think. So where did that subroutine go from the 1870s, from the 1970s, from the 1950s? Where did that subroutine go? Oh, it just disappeared. Oh, someone's changed it. Oh, you made it more efficient, did you? And who gave you the right to bloody change it to make it more efficient? See, this is where we can recreate periods of man's history and tweak just like, okay, well that's what that particular period of history would have been like if we'd have tweaked these bits and tweaked that bit and did it, and this and you can see what would have happened to mankind's progress. I mean that would have been absolutely fantastic. So what would the 50s have been like? If we would have tweaked this and tweaked that, how would the subsequent history of man turned out if we'd have tweaked this? So that might be interesting. So pick a decade and tweak various parts of it, and then implement it, and then see what would have resulted. Ooh. And since we've got a vacuum tube computer, and there are people on working and changing the vacuum computer into a transistor computer, we can start to simulate what would have happened in various decades in man's history. Be kind of cool, and that in itself will produce all sorts of new products and progresses and ideas and thoughts. So you don't necessarily have to be with the front edge decade. You can be with any decade, and then tweak it, and then see what sort of creativity you'd make. Added to that, the idea of the All Knowledge Project, accumulation of knowledge. We've got a source of creativity which is basically indefinite and eternal. But yeah, mankind's history is like a gigantic program. Well, this is what I'm saying. It's like you've got actual reality program, and that's what resulted. And then you can have enhanced reality, where we tweak various parts of the various decades, and then run the program and see what sort of results from that, and then build each decade on. So exactly, let's say if we were able to create that and a particular important invention in the history of man in a decade prior, see how man would have sort of turned out, or so forth and so on. I'm just saying, don't forget it takes the entire world. As long as the system's working and people have continuity in their lives. But there's also, we want for Britain to be great, America to be great again, right? The periods of history. I think that period of man's history was a sweet spot in the history of the world, right? The 70s, 80s, particularly, and the 90s, the sweet spot. So you can imagine the 80s on steroids, so to speak. It'd be like, wow! other words, going forward, the source of creativity can inject into the present, and we can create and recreate periods of man's past, which are sweet spots. Well, I'm awfully sorry, but that's what's happening, so nothing you can do about it. I think, if people want to just pretend to be members of the public now and just get on with your lives, that's perfectly all right. Three people want to say. Yeah, I don't mind being